It hurts really bad. I've never thought my kids would be taken from me. Dale and I have been together for 15 years since we were teenagers, and he is definitely the love of my life. Everything was going great when we first got together. About 4 or 5 years into the relationship, we started having kids, and everything was still peachy until we just had rotten people come into our life and managed to get our kids taken. Dale is being accused of abusing my son, my oldest son, by putting a zip tie around his neck, punching him, giving him 2 black eyes, and making him spit up blood. I was at work that day. I had got home and noticed that my son had marks around his neck, marks around his eyes and his nose, and I started freaking out. So I went up and talked to him to see what was going on and where he got the marks from, and he wouldn't tell me. He was nervous and scared. I asked another family member that was in my household at the time, and he said that both of my boys were fighting over a big umbrella, an adult umbrella. And I guess my younger son had decided to get angry at my older son and smacked him in the face with it. The next day, CPS showed up at my door, and my older son had told the CPS worker that my husband had held him down and punched him in the eyes and held a zip tie around his neck. And I supposedly had cut it off. That never happened. There was never, when I got home, I had never seen a zip tie around my son's neck. I've never had come across my husband really abusing them. That's why I stand behind him 100% through this. And now mine and my husband's life was just ripped apart because of my children being taken from us for no reason at all. Dale would never hurt my kids. He is a good father, an awesome father. I haven't seen my kids in over 3 months. They're trying to charge me for failure to protect and neglect. And now they're trying to say that Dale had molested my daughter. I don't believe that allegation at all. I would have seen signs with my daughter being touched. She definitely would have came and told me if something was wrong. I know Dale didn't do this because I was always the one with my daughter. I honestly think that my daughter was being coached. So Dale took a lie detector test to prove that he didn't abuse our son and molest my daughter or put a zip tie around my son's neck. And I'm also being tested for just not standing there and letting it happen. And when we both pass, it's gonna make me feel good, and I'm gonna go get my kids. I'm gonna go get my kids. I came home to the police and the CPS worker and a bunch of people at my house, and my kids were in the house. I came home to my son, and he had those marks around his eyes and the mark around his neck.
He had black eyes?
He had black eyes, yes.
And he had a mark around his neck, like what? Like somebody had tied something around his neck?
Yes, I had tried to ask him. He was scared and nervous, and he ran off. And I didn't believe that my husband had done that. So
Who told you that your husband did it?
A bunch of people was telling me that my son had told the CPS worker that his dad did that.
Has your husband ever abused you?
No, yes.
How has he abused you?
In the past, we have gotten into heated arguments. He's pushed me, he's slapped me.
How long have you been married?
And we've been married 4 or 5 months.
How many kids do you have together?
We have 3.
3 together. But recently you said, I want to be married to you.
Because everything was changing. He was becoming a different man. He wasn't really fighting with me like we used to back in the day.
He was changing for the good.
He was, yes.
And you decided to get married.
Yes.
Now, the CPS documents reads that he held your son down and put a zip tie around his neck.
Yeah, that I don't believe that.
That is like pretty severe, extreme
Exactly.
torture, right?
Yeah, yeah.
A zip tie around the neck. I mean, you could kill somebody. He stapled your child to the wall.
Yeah, that one I don't understand either.
How do you staple a child to the wall?
I really don't know. I mean, I
pinch
would
their skin
assume.
and staple?
I would assume a staple gun.
Well, yeah, I would assume a staple gun. I'm saying you have to pull the skin out to staple him to the wall.
Right.
I mean, if he were to do this, he'd be like a evil person, right? Does he give your kids drugs?
No, not that I know of. I'm always around unless I'm working.
Yeah. What's this about him feeding your baby drugs in the bottle?
That I don't believe either for a fact because, like I said, I've always had my kids from day one. And every time when he was on drugs, he would always leave.
Does your husband do drugs?
Not now, no.
But did he?
Yes, at some point, yes.
What do you mean at some point? When?
There was times that he did drugs before we had even gotten together the first time. He was doing drugs if and when and out of the relationship.
What kind of drugs?
As far as I know, it was meth.
No. Now, the CPS documents read that that you said that you know he's been abusive to your son.
No, the CPS wicker was twisting my words around.
I mean, you're talking about a guy that's on meth, okay? We're not talking about, the father of the year here.
No.
I mean, when you're on meth, you talk about him abusing you. Is it really a stretch to believe that he abused your kids? I mean, when you're on meth, when is the last time you saw your children?
October 12th.
So you haven't seen
2023.
When they took him away. Yeah. Why haven't you seen him since?
That my visitation has been suspended because they're trying to get me for failure to protect.
They feel like you didn't do enough to protect your children. Did they say anything like, if you leave Dale, you can see your kids?
They had threatened me and said if I don't divorce him, that they would permanently take them from me.
Right. Now, do you think they have any special interest in seeing you and Dale divorced?
No.
These people are probably saying, boy, these kids are really in a bad position here. This guy, Dale, and the police officer and the CPS minds are saying, this guy's evil and dangerous. The only way you as a mother are going to get your kids back, you got to get away from this guy. That's what they're saying, right? So when they say this to you, what's your response?
I acted immediately. I went and got divorce papers and had them filed.
But you believe Dale.
At first, I didn't believe it.
Now you do?
Now I do.
What changed your mind?
Honestly, I don't believe the fact that he really did do it.
You don't believe he did any of this?
No, I don't believe he did.
So why would you divorce him then?
Because I was scared.
So you didn't really plan on divorcing them?
No.
You got the paperwork just so you could get your kids back?
Yes.
But you would still stay with Dale?
If everything goes okay to where I'm able to get my kids back, then no.
What if Dale fails his lie detector test today?
I'm probably going to go off.
It's a horrible story.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I would never do anything like this.
You would never abuse your children. Zach, why do you believe that your brother is a sexual predator?
Past situations. I've even found his phone when he lived with me before, where he was being creeps, taking photos of my female friends on a beach. They had no clue that he was taken.
Your kids were taken away.
Yes.
You're facing criminal charges, right?
Yes, if they find the
Right, if the investigation comes back. Your wife is facing charges of failing to protect.
Yes.
So you possibly both could lose your children forever.
Yes.
Did you molest your daughter?
No, absolutely not. That's my little princess.
Why do you think that's coming out from?
She's learning good touch and bad touch at school, and she's going around everyone, even her little classmates. If they walk in and bump into her butt or anything, she says they're touching her private parts.
So at no time under this influence of meth, you could have done something inappropriate?
No, I was never around my daughter when I was under the influence
You never
of meth.
came home under influence of meth?
No, I would always stay away.
You came here and we asked you, did you ever witness Dale sexually abuse your daughter? You answered no. Prior to January 5th of 2024, were you aware that Dale molested your daughter? You answered no. Did you ever witness Dale giving your son any black eyes? You answered no. Did you ever see your son with a zip tie around his neck? You answered no. Did you cut the zip tie off of your son's neck? You answered no. Those results came back all the same, and they came back that you told the truth. Your test is 2 parts, sexual molestation and physical abuse. So we asked you first, did you ever touch your daughter for your own sexual gratification? You answered no. You told the truth. Did you ever strike your son giving him a black eye? You answered no. Did you ever strike your son causing him to spit blood? You answered no. Did you ever strike your son giving him a bloody nose? You answered no. Did you ever strike any of your children, leaving them with a mark or a bruise? You answered no. Did you ever put a zip tie around your son's neck? You answered no. Did you ever hold down your son so a zip tie could be placed around his neck? You answered no. Did you, I didn't ask you this question. Did you ever give your kids illegal drugs?
No, absolutely not.
Did you ever provide illegal drugs to your children? You answered no. Did you ever staple any of your children to a wall? No. Did you ever staple one of your children to a wall? You answered no. Results came back all the same, and they came back that Dale did not tell the truth.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Dale? Why don't you try that with me? Huh?
Where you going, Dale?
Why don't you try to come be a
You gonna leave
man
your wife
and try
here?
that with a grown-ass man instead of some kids? Are you kidding?
Babe, I didn't do this.
Don't.
You're such a liar, Dale.
Don't leave the stage, please.
Don't.
I can't believe you. The childhood we had, and you do this to your kids?
There's been 30 CPS investigations to this. Okay? 30. Nobody's making this up.
They've all proved that none of them's been happening. They've closed all the cases.
Not yet.
They've closed. This is the
one's not
only
closed.
case they
Yeah,
haven't
this is
closed.
the only one. The one where your son, one child's being stapled to the wall, one is getting black
he
eyes,
was never
one with
stapled
zip
to
ties
the
around
wall.
his neck. Those allegations you're talking about?
Those were never true. The case was closed.
So let me ask you,
where
the
he was
first
stapled
question
to
on
the
the lie
wall.
detector test today, we asked you, did you sexually molest your daughter? You passed it, right?
Yeah.
You didn't do it. Okay, you told the truth. But every other question you fail. Now you're not happy about those, are you?
No, I'm not happy because I didn't do them.
because you did it.
No, I didn't.
Okay, and listen, you know, I think you're a dirtbag too.
He was
nothing.
scared.
And you know
He was
what? I think you're
scared.
lying that you're going to leave this guy. I
No.
think you'll be laying with him tonight. You
No.
get off my stage. You're not a dad. You're just a sperm donor.
No, I'm a dad.
You're a dad.
I've
You're a
made my
dad.
mistakes.
I'm a dad. You're not a dad.
I've made my mistakes. I've made my mistakes, but I didn't do this.
You made your mistakes, and hopefully you'll never make them again. Your kids hopefully will never be under your roof again, never under your supervision again. May something in this universe stop you from ever having children again. You, I hope the next time I hear from you will be from a prison cell. Get the off my stage. Can you relate to this story? Go to www.stevewilkos.com to get my help.